mean, yeah, you already started filming. We can keep going. Usually too, we keep everything in.
Right, yeah,
We
might
don't-
as well.
Yeah, we don't cut anything. Well, welcome back to the pod. This is Garage Sessions episode. I don't know what episode. Like
57, I think.
Yeah, something like that. But welcome back, and we are super excited for this guest. Another person I really wanted to come through when I had this idea. Known her for a long time, very long time, and then reconnected and started doing videos for her and stuff. But she's done, God, her list goes on and on. We got Chris Brown, recently the Usher residency.
Jack
Harlow, multiple music videos, almost every goddamn music video. if you really go deep into that. But we have Miss Isabel.
Hi.
I'm not gonna butcher her last name.
I know, honestly.
I'm not trying to butcher that.
Capitulate. Everybody, honestly.
Capitulate.
Yeah, I give it away every time. Like, people always say that, and I'm like, you know what? You don't even have to try. Like,
sometimes I'll just say caps.
Yeah, that works.
Okay,
that works
cool.
because the capitulate is a hard one.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the pod. I really appreciate
Thank
you coming through.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
So how have you been? How have you been in life? And let's just start with like your origin story, like, because I know you're not from here as well. You're from the Bay.
The Bay, yeah.
So how did that go?
I started dancing when I was 8. I was born and raised in the Bay Area. I just kind of, I low-key was like that kid that tried everything because my parents just wanted me, like, you're going to do something, right? So, like, I tried sports, sucked at it, completely horrible.
Which ones?
I played soccer for a little bit, but I like quit like a week into it. I was
Nice.
like, there's no way. Like, at least I tried.
Yeah.
But at least I tried. I tried gymnastics. I was like good at it, but I was scared of like flipping. Like, I even to this day, like, I have a fear of like flipping and going backwards, like falling on my head. So I was like, okay, this isn't gonna work.
Your neck.
Yeah, this is not gonna work.
Is it
so
more
I tried,
like scared of like the injuries or just like the moment? Like,
I think just everything about it, like the injuries or just like even doing a back handspring, like what if I don't catch myself? Like, there was just so many things that I was like, okay, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And then I tried dancing, and the funny thing is I actually hated it at first. Like, I was like, absolutely not, because it was just so much pressure to like be good, you know what I mean, and like technique and stuff like that, because I started like training. Yeah, I started at a studio.
Yeah.
So I actually quit. I ended up quitting after a while. Yeah,
shit.
and then I went back to it, but I only did hip hop because when I first started, it was like every style,
The technique, jazz.
Yeah, and then when I went back to it, I just did hip hop, and I started with the Golden State Warriors. They have a kids dance team called Junior Jam.
Oh, sick.
And I
did it for Clippers.
Oh, really? Yeah. And they still have it to this day. Fun fact.
Fun fact for everybody. That's so funny.
So I did that actually. When I auditioned, I made it. So I did that from when I was like 8 to 13. I did it for a long time. So I kind of like, from there is where I made like my friendships and relationships with like other dancers pretty much. And so the other dancers on the team, they all, like, a lot of them had agents, and my parents were like, oh, like, we learned a lot through them when it came to that type of industry stuff. So, like, my second year of Junior Jam, my dad started taking me to LA, basically, and then I auditioned for agencies. That's when I got signed to Block.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
so I was, like, 9 when I got signed to Block. I'm still signed to them now.
Wow.
But I know, it's crazy.
Since then, or have you gone back?
So it's been years. Sorry?
Have you been signed with them since then? Or
yeah,
have you,
I've been signed since then.
Damn,
so it's been a while.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I've been signed literally since I was like an infant. But yeah, and then after that, pretty much everything just unfolded from there, which is dope because I was just able to like make that connection. And then once I got my agent, it was just like kind of back and forth to San Francisco. And then
how long did you do that for?
A while, probably until I went to college, and that was when I was 18 maybe. I went to college at UCSB in Santa Barbara.
Yeah.
And then I didn't finish. I had to drop out because it was just I started teaching a lot and choreographing and like traveling. So, and I was barely like to the point where my friends would see me on campus and they'd be like, you still go here? Yeah. And I'm like, I do, yeah. Like,
kind
it was just, kind of. After a while, I was like, this is not, like, I don't want to waste all this money coming to this school when I already have these jobs. Like, I would rather
You're already
not
doing what
do
you
that.
want.
Exactly, I was already doing what I want, like living my dream, basically. So, I, stopped college for a minute and was just traveling.
What were you studying?
I was a dance major.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to do like computer engineering because I like that type of stuff.
Okay.
But with me being able to travel at the same time, that just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
Like the schedule wise, and the my dance professors kind of like allowed me because they knew that I was dancing outside of school, so they would like help me like use those as like credits for things that I was missing. Basically.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, so like I
Okay.
could like write stuff down or like
do a paragraph about the job or something.
Yeah, literally.
Some bullshit like
yeah,
that.
honestly,
Some
like,
bullshit like
I'm
that.
pretending like
Yeah.
just writing all the stuff that really wasn't even making sense at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
so I was a dance major because that was the only thing that was really going to allow me to do both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Balance
so
it out.
yeah, exactly. So then once I dropped out, I just officially moved to LA from there. And I've been living here ever since. So it's actually only been like 4 years since I've lived in LA.
Wait, so let's take it back to our history. I've known
So
you.
yeah, so when you knew me, I didn't live here yet. Oh. Yeah, I lived in the Bay still.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
How
thought
frequently were you driving back and forth?
Well, it was my dad is like when he drives from San Francisco to LA, it's like that because he's done it for so long, like so many times.
So homie's like Need for Speed. Like,
Yeah, literally. Like it was probably like sometimes we would come out here for an audition, like leave at 7 a.m, get here quick, go to the audition. And you know those auditions when they literally be like, say your name, smile, freestyle for like 10 seconds, and then you're done.
Yeah.
So we would literally drive like 5-6 hours, do that, and then drive back home same day,
Wow, just
right
straight
after.
back.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And we did that like sometimes it could have been twice a week because
Yeah.
agencies, back then at least, they would call you like right
the-
now
the-
technically be like, hey, there's an audition tomorrow
Tomorrow,
morning.
yeah. Same
you
with
know what I
acting.
mean? So my dad would be like, okay, like I would miss school and everything. We would just go and then come right back.
Damn, so this drive was nothing for
I was
you.
literally-
Honestly, like this one, that's why like all my friends too tell me like how much I enjoy driving because I'm just used to it, and I use it kind of as like a type of like
Outlet.
meditation
Yeah.
or like
Same,
therapy
yeah.
for me because it's just relaxing in a sense, minus the traffic, of course.
Yeah,
but
that's why I don't mind either because I always be in LA too.
Yeah.
So, and I always lived in this area.
Okay.
So even further, when I met you, I was living in RSM, which is another like 25-30 minutes from here.
Yikes! Yeah,
So-
you have
But I was used to it
for now.
But
yeah,
I was used to it, and then now since I drive myself,
Right.
So it's like meditation.
Yeah.
It's like getting myself pumped.
no, for sure. I definitely, honestly, like even me driving is like a creative space technically because sometimes I'll like think about things, or even I think that the one video you shot for me, the last one we did,
Yeah.
I came up with that idea driving
In the car?
Yeah, because I
Oh,
was just like
shit.
playing the song like over and over and over again,
Yeah.
and I was just like, let's do a video, and then
Yeah.
it just happened.
Yeah,
But-
because you're just bumping that shit.
Yeah.
You feel like you're in your own concert.
yeah, no, literally.
I get my ideas in the shower though.
Yeah.
That's where I get the ideas.
Mine's definitely driving. That's where I come up with a lot of
That's
stuff.
dope.
Yeah.
That's dope.
But yeah, that's pretty much.
Damn, that's crazy. You drove that. So, what was the moment for you then that you were like, all right, I'm going to take this super serious? I mean, because you were auditioning already, because you probably know super young, but like, what was the moment you're like, all right, this is the big stepping stone for you, and you're like, okay, this is where I'm making it.
Right. I think it was at the point that I started to like get recognition for my choreography, I would say, because at first when I was doing like you know how the dance jobs were, they're like you could audition for 100 jobs and out of those 100 you only got like 5 of them. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So it was just
exactly.
very sparse in the sense of being able to have dance as a stable thing to basically live off of.
Definitely.
So once I started really investing myself in my own stuff, like my own choreography, and people like recognizing it, like I feel like the moment when I was actually like, okay, maybe I can do this, was I had like a goal, and it was to, because just growing up as a dancer, I would always watch like dance camp videos, basically.
Urban dance.
Yeah,
camp,
all
you
those
got-
things. Urban Dance Camp, Fair Play,
Fair Play.
Rio H2K. Like, I had all of these ones I just wanted to do, right? So this one day, I still lived with my parents. I was young. I don't think I was maybe like 18. I maybe hadn't even gone to college yet. Maybe I was just about to go. But this one day, like, I was just, throughout this time, I was really just focusing on my choreography and really nothing else. And then all of a sudden, I was getting all these emails, and it was like, it was like from Fair Play, hey, can you come teach, blah, blah, blah. From Urban Dance Camp, hey, can you come teach? Like, from real, like, it was literally like I was checking off all of these things that I wanted to do within
one
like
day?
within like literally like
week?
1 day, 1 week type thing. It was crazy. Like, it was like unreal. Like, I probably could look back in my inbox and find those emails.
Whoa.
But it was just from every camp that I wanted to do, and I was like,
Was it a specific piece that you remember that like popped it off?
There was definitely.
I know one of them for me that I was like, holy shit! This your up next is the one at Chapkiss with
the Walk It Out one.
Yes.
Yes, no, that one. That one
Holy.
definitely. I think that was like after I had gotten those emails.
Okay.
But that one boosted my
Even-
following completely.
Yeah.
Like, I think when I just for example, not exact numbers, but say I was at 100,000 on Instagram when I released that video, like after I released that video, I was at like 500. Like, it boosted like that. Like, it was
Damn.
crazy though. I tell everybody all the time, like, I didn't even want to post that.
Really?
Because I didn't even like that video. Yeah.
For real?
I didn't like
Wow.
the way the video looked. Yeah. Because I had taught that like in Canada. I remember I taught it in Canada and it was kind of okay. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to post it after I taught it at Chapkiss. And then I just posted it, and it like even on like Facebook, it had like 50 million or some like stupid number. Yeah,
Damn.
yeah. So just from that, like literally, if I posted that video at 100,000 followers within posting it, and after that, I gained at least 300, 400K. And that's how like my following just grew from that. Like, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And it wasn't even your goal, really.
Yeah,
like,
no, it wasn't even on purpose.
I mean, you didn't even want to post
Yeah, that's
it.
the thing. Like, it just happened. So it's just crazy how, and that's honestly the thing about like me and how I kind of was, I don't even know the words to say what I want to say, but because everything kind of just happened naturally. It wasn't
Yeah.
like I did it to gain the followers or I did it
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
gain people to see my stuff. It was kind of just, I was enjoying it and it was fun. So I would post these things and all these people just like,
It was genuine,
yeah,
too.
it was genuine, which
I think that's why people really fucked with it.
Uh-huh.
I think we talked about this with Julian, though. But, like, in videos and dance videos, when someone's having fun or, like, turning the fuck up, and
oh,
they're just,
yeah,
you can just
feel
definitely
it. You can
tell.
feel, yeah, absolutely.
So before that, was dance as a career like not, you weren't really thinking about that?
I mean, it was, but it was a far reach.
Okay,
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
say.
yeah.
Like, it was definitely like
You
my
thought
goal.
it was going to take a
Yeah,
little minute?
Exactly. It was definitely my goal. It was just in the sense, okay, how am I actually going to do it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then once that happened, I was like, okay,
I did it.
maybe it's possible. Exactly. Like, okay, it's getting closer. Because even my parents, they're very traditional. They're like go to college, get a job, just
Fucking
be,
tell me about it.
just be like, have a stable, life in that sense. 'Cause
Signed up
that's
for
how,
classes today.
yeah, that's
you
how
really?
like,
Yeah.
that's
Tragic.
just how like my parents, that's how the family rolls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
and there was nothing wrong with that, but just in my sense, I was like, I know exactly what I want to do, and that's just not the case.
Yeah.
So even when I went to college, like, the way I was like grinding myself to like the floor just to prove to them
Yeah.
that I really wanted to dance as a career, because I was already starting to get jobs, but even in their heads, they're still like, okay, but what happens when it slows down? So I kind of
Yeah.
basically had to show them like, I'm going to work hard to get what I get, like, deserve this basically and be able to live off of this. So
Definitely.
I remember like being in college, because the closest airport to UCSB is LAX, the biggest one at least.
Oh, okay.
So, or to like fly internationally. So to
yeah.
the point where I would literally drive like after class on Thursday. I wouldn't schedule my classes on Friday so I could leave. So after my classes on Thursday, I would like drive myself 2 hours to LAX, fly to like literally like Australia, like for like 2 days. And that's like what, 16-hour flight, 16-hour
Yeah.
flight. And then get home Sunday night at like midnight, and then
And
drive
go
myself back
back
to UCSB, but not even get there till like 2, 3. And then I would have 8 a.m. ballet on Monday. And I would
Oh, ballet and
like,
ballet.
and ballet at that. Like, I would do that. And the way I did that, like, for a whole like quarter maybe, so much to the point where I was like going
you were
through
dying.
it. I was
Yeah.
going through it, but I just did all that because I had to like
You knew.
sit myself down and be like, okay, how bad do you want this? Like, do you really think that you can do it? And clearly I was like, okay, yeah, I really need to figure this out. So I just did all that basically to prove to them like I'm genuinely going to work hard
Yeah.
at this to make sure that I'll be able to live off of it stably, and you know what I mean? So
And we always talk about this, consistency and dedication, really, like, you were fucking determined.
it was honestly, like, that's the thing I tell people all the time when people ask me, you know, how do you get, or just in general, if people come up to me after my classes, like, how do I get where you are, or how do I do things in like, just be in the industry and, you know, become choreographer and teacher? And I'm like, there's really no secret. You know what I mean? There's no secret in the sense of getting somewhere quicker than other people, or even getting somewhere quicker than you really want to. But it's that hard work.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to get in the way of that. Like, that always works. There's never a time when working hard, like, fails you.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, because I say that especially because it's like I physically did it. You
No,
know what I mean? Like, I
facts.
physically have been doing this for so long since I
Facts.
was a kid.
Yeah.
So that knowing, like, even just me, sometimes I'll sit back, like, by myself and just think about everything that I've really experienced in my life and, like, work hard to get. And it's really, like, wild when I think about it, like, everything that I had to go through and, like, the trials and tribulations of everything and, like,
100%.
getting turned down.
100%.
Getting all those no's, like, all of that is really, like, part of the process.
Yeah, I think that's one thing we really wanted to talk about with you, especially because you're, like, the top of the game right now as a choreographer, and being a female choreographer, like, being one of the top to, like, really do it and really, like, make a name, like, in the beginning of social media. Like, how did that impact you? And, like, did you feel that weight, like, on your shoulders a little bit?
Yeah, it's honestly, there's definitely a weight for sure, especially being, like, a female. There's always always having basically to one up yourself.
Exactly.
Because you can never, like, the next thing you do, if you do something great, like, the next thing after that has to be even greater, and then even greater. And it's like, after a while, it's definitely a lot.
Yeah,
But
for
that's
sure.
why I try to, honestly, I think that's why it's a great thing for me, is because when I was younger, because when I went to high school, I went to School of the Arts, so I kind of, like, tapped back into my technical side when I was in high school and in college for
Wait,
being a
where'd
dance
you go?
major.
I was
high
just going to
school.
say, well,
Because
I
we
went
went to
to-
OSHA.
I went to,
'Cause you
it's
were-
called Ruth Desawa School of the Arts
where is it?
in San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's in San
it's like there's two School of the Arts in the Bay Area. There's one in Oakland, and then there's one in San Francisco. I went to the one in San
So
Francisco.
you experienced what we experienced a little bit.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because
So-
you've been to OSHA. You didn't go to OSHA, but you know of OSHA.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was... It's interesting.
One of the
No.
greatest schools of all time.
It was definitely that was a whole experience.
Yeah,
in its
art
own.
school, yeah.
School of the Arts is
Yeah.
like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like a movie.
Yeah,
damn
movie
near.
and
Yeah.
just a college itself
Yes,
already.
literally already.
Yeah.
I used to say that to my friends all the time. Like, I was like, why do I really feel like I'm in college
Yeah.
right now?
Facts.
I'm like 15, 16.
Yeah,
But,
already stressing.
Yeah, so basically to go back from that was now at least where I am in choreographing and, like, doing new things for myself as an artist is tapping back into those types of things to then elevate what I've already done. Because I feel like for so long I've focused on just straight, like, hip hop and just normal stuff, you know, like typical things that people would expect of me. And now I feel like I'm kind of at a point where I want people to see things like, I didn't know she could do that. You know, I didn't know because I've just, even throughout, like, high school, my dance chairman, she was from Panama.
Whoa.
And she basically, like, trained us in, like I don't know what exactly it was that she was training us in, but it was almost like a form of salsa to where we were, like, doing full on, and this is at, like, 7 in the morning, and this is in high school,
Oh, God.
like 7 in the morning, 8 a.m., like,
Be some crazy
full on, like, partner work, like, turning, lifts, all of this stuff.
with the
And
with the little small heels.
yes, and we had to choreograph our own, which was at a certain point for, like, our one of our
for
final
finals.
projects, basically. So even, like, there's so many different, like, pockets that I've never really tapped into before.
Oh, that'd be
so
sick.
that's where I'm really at with, like, trying to level up myself is tapping into things that people would never expect of me, and even myself, like, challenging myself to really go back to what I've really been trained in and, like, use that
Yeah,
now, because I feel like I've been so just in the pocket of, like, the swag and, you know, just, like,
yeah.
natural things that feel natural to me.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to make it a little more difficult for myself now.
So then with that, I know you always try to up yourself everything you do, but when was the last time you felt like you were really challenged and you were like, oh shit, like you shocked, the final result was like you shocked yourself, but then during the process you were like, oh, what the how did when was the last time you felt that?
Honestly, I would say I would just say in general, like industry wise, I would say it was the usher job.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say it was Usher and Chris, but it was just two different. They were both very like this type of thing, but it was just two different kinds of that, if that makes sense. Yeah, two different aspects, but both were like like this type of thing.
Yeah.
They're both great experiences, but just in the process, it's like you really have no choice but to step to the plate
and keep moving forward.
Basically. Like there was never like, that was really a time when I was really like, you're tired. Tired does not mean anything. It sucks to be tired. But that's not gonna stop you now. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So there was just a lot of like, and honestly, I'm really grateful to have experienced things like that because it really changed me as a dancer and how I see things. And even when I teach class, like I'm able to really speak knowledge into my students to make sure that they're aware of what actually goes on in the real world when it comes to being a dancer. Because even like when I was doing Chaos this past week, and you know the room was so hot because clearly LA right now it was like almost like 100 degrees.
Just too hot.
Yeah,
Too
just
hot.
during
Just
the
too
day.
hot.
But we were teaching during the day, and the room was just like, because there was like maybe 200 kids in one room just learning a routine.
Woo!
And I remember one of my friends, Fifi, he was telling them, he was like, you being hot and sweaty means nothing. So when we were teaching, we're like, if this is what you really want to do, heat and being tired and all of these things it shouldn't even have to affect you. Exactly. It shouldn't be a factor at all because it's not. In the real world, this is going to be something that you actually have to, deal with.
Facts. Was Chris Brown your first tour? I feel like
it was. Yeah,
really?
It was my first tour. Yeah, yeah, I know it was dope. Honestly, it was totally a shock to me that was my first.
Yeah,
tour.
how did that come about? How did that opportunity present itself?
Well,
because I know you're connected with Fifi and
and all them. I just remember this one day, Josh, the choreographer. I don't even think that I even had met him like in person yet, but I was just around like Fifi and Johnny and Calvin, and they were Chris dancers before, right? Or even at the time. So I don't know if I was kind of just like in this
bubble.
Yeah, in that bubble. But just I remember the day exactly. This one day I just checked my Instagram messages and Josh was like, hey, like can I give you a call or something of that sort, right? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So he called me, and the first thing he said, he was like, hey, do you want to tour with Chris? And I was like,
just casual.
Oh, like literally just casually
drop it on
you. As a dancer, that's like one of the best things to hear.
That is one of the best things to ever hear, right? Like, hey, do you want to
How do you feel about touring with one of the biggest artists? How would that interest you?
The way that I literally was like I was just in complete shock because I remember I even said this in when we were on tour, like when they were doing this whole documentary or whatnot.
Oh, they
like
did
rehearsals, you know what I mean? Dope. And they asked like some of us a few questions, and I was like, to be honest, I remember telling my dad when I was like 10 maybe in the car with him, and I was like, I want to dance for Chris Brown. Like that was something as a kid that I told my dad, and I remember physically, I remember that day that I told my dad when I was a kid, and then when that happened, I was like, wow. Is this like it was because it was just so out of my focus. Like that was the last thing I was thinking about at that moment was to be asked to dance for Chris Brown. Like I was just like, huh?
But another thing, just like that video of the chap kiss, it just is like,
it just exactly. Like I just honestly feel like that's the thing that I notice a lot is that when things are like out of mind and you're just living your life and doing things the best that you can, you never know what's gonna happen.
And then it just aligns perfectly.
Exactly, it aligns and everything just happens for a reason. Basically,
was that a goal still till before you got the tour? Because I know you were traveling a lot and teaching. Was that still a goal of yours to go on tour?
It was. It definitely was, because actually at the time I was kind of like burnt out from teaching. So it honestly came at the perfect time, because after a while, when I first started teaching, I kind of like dragged myself through the mud, because I said yes to everything. I was like, hey, do you want to come to here? Do you want to come here, 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 here? And I was like, yes, because I was just so excited to do it.
I remember a couple years, like, you were never here.
I was never, like, to the point when people would be like, or I don't even think I had a place to live. Like, I think I just had a storage unit.
Yeah.
Like, I would just, when I came back to LA, I would just, like, couch surf, basically.
Sleep for one day and then on another flight.
Yeah, and then next flight. Like, it was just a lot, to where I was literally, like, no exaggeration, going from, like, Germany to Atlanta, Thailand, London, Paris. And this is by myself.
Damn.
Yeah.
And I'm, like, 18, 19, like, I was so young doing that by myself. So I did it for a while, to where I was, like, gone at 2 months at a time.
Yeah.
And then gone another month. So I had to just stop for a while. And then when that tour came, it was just perfect timing, because I was able to kind of, like, tap into something else.
Yeah.
Which it definitely, like, grew me as a dancer completely, and a choreographer, which is, I'm very thankful.
Well, where was the first place, because you started traveling young, what was the first place you traveled, maybe in the States and then internationally, for a teaching job? Do you remember that?
Internationally, I would say, I think it was like, where was it? I think Italy. Because I remember, what is the camp called? American Camp. I believe that was the first place. It's in Rome.
Whoa.
I think. Maybe. Yeah, I think it's in Rome.
See, it's too many, man.
I know,
too many.
like, trying to get these places in order. For in the States, I believe it was, I feel like it was Arizona or something. Just something, like, not too
Super
far.
chill.
Yeah, very
Gotcha.
chill. But I'm almost positive my first one internationally was Rome.
Gotcha. So, because even even starting as a choreographer, or like, someone wants to be a choreographer, that's also the goal, is travel as well. So, like, how did that hit you as a upcoming choreographer?
Yeah,
18, like,
right.
it's so young. Like,
I was definitely, like...
that's like another wow moment.
Yeah, because I mean, especially even me just being so excited I was saying yes to everything. So that's how I knew how excited I was.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't even, like, using common sense to be like, okay, Isabel, are you even going to be able to do this?
Yeah.
Like, at a certain point, I was just like, yeah. like a kid in a candy shop, basically. How excited I was, because it kind of just hit me so suddenly, like, especially seeing all those emails that I spoke about.
For sure.
That was, like, a surreal moment, because that was, like, the moment where I was like, maybe I can, do this as a career and get paid and travel and basically be like everybody that I'm looking up to in these videos that I've been watching since I was, like, a kid.
For sure.
So it was definitely a wild moment to really experience that.
What's your favorite place to teach at?
In the States, I would say New York.
Okay.
I love New York. Their energy is just, like, through the roof.
You've been up there pretty often, too.
Yeah,
huh?
I go there a lot, and it's really just to teach. Like, honestly, I really just enjoy their energy. It's very, like, raw, and you can just tell that they really enjoy to dance.
Okay.
And I love students who are just eager. And then out of the country, I would say London is definitely top up there for me, and the Philippines as well. The Philippines is very. They're also definitely one of, like, the most eager dancers that I would see, who are just hungry and want to learn and just enjoy it. I love their, like, passion for it.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the energy is great there.
What's... You go, my man.
Is there something that you're working towards right now? Like, do you have a new goal in mind at all?
I'm not necessarily right now. I'm kind of just going with the flow, basically. Because just in the past, everything that I've kind of done was never a part of my plan. You know what I mean? And I feel like, and I honestly feel like sometimes when I make a plan for myself and it doesn't go as planned, I tend to get attached to things like that. And then if it doesn't work out the way that I want to, I get a little frustrated.
Yeah.
So I'd rather not have a plan just so that I can be open to whatever is supposed to come my way versus, like, be in the way of that, if that makes sense. Because I feel like if I have a plan and that doesn't happen, that I'm gonna get frustrated, but really something else better is coming. You know what I mean? So I try to stay away from having the plan and just kind of going with the flow. And I learned that recently, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to like tackle when you have this whole thing set up. You're like, okay, this is how it's gonna go. This is how it's gonna go, and then everything kind of just knocks to the ground.
Yeah,
You're like,
definitely.
okay, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was there ever a point, I mean, especially since you were like pretty young doing all these like huge things, was there ever a point where like you felt a little too overwhelmed and you were like, maybe I can't do this? But then, and then was there something that like regrounded you into it?
There was this one time, a lot of people don't even know about this, but there was this one time that I was in Turkey. I was in Istanbul, and I was teaching a class, and I remember I was just very, I was exhausted. This was in the middle of like that 2-month travel thing that I did where I was just gone by myself, and I think that was the first time that I did that. But throughout this time, you know, at least back then when I was traveling doing those things, all of those people just knew me as that girl in those videos. You know what I mean? So it was more of like a fan base versus people who actually wanted to take my class
And
as like
learn.
Exactly, and learn. So I remember being there, and I was exhausted. I don't think I had slept yet. I don't think I had eaten yet. It was just like everything at that moment was just like
Not
it was just
going
all
well.
building up. It was all building up in my head, right?
Yeah.
So I remember teaching that class, and it was just I was just like so exhausted. I was basically at my breaking point at that moment. So I remember at the end, you know, dancers just liked, especially ones like internationally, they just enjoy to take photos with you, right? So, and there was nothing wrong with that. I was totally up for it, but there was a sense of like, I was pushed to the edge so much with me being gone for so long and traveling and having to be around all these different energies. And basically
a lot of different energies.
A lot of different energies, and always having to be on point, always having to be like great. Like even as soon as you walk into a class, whatever is happening in your personal life, whether it's the worst day in the world, as soon as you walk into that class, none of that can even exist anymore. You have to be on point for these people because it's your job. Right? So I remember taking pictures with them, and after a while, just having to be so on for so long for so many people. I remember telling the studio owner, I was like, or the person that invited me there, like, I'm sorry, I just need a second, like just 1 second. I went outside, like on the balcony in the studio, and just started bawling, crying. Like,
it was really like, it was really
point. Like there, like to the point where you would have thought I got a phone call saying someone in my family had passed. Like it was bad. Like I could not stop crying. It was so, like, I was at that point, and I remember, I think the place that I went after that was India. And then when I was in India, I remember calling my mom, or just doing maybe texting her, I'm not sure what it was, but I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like, I don't know if I can feel this way about something that I just used to find so much joy in, and now that I almost have to give that joy to other people. And that was something that was really messing me up, because especially in a sense of where I was traveling for so long and having to give myself to so many different people, so many different countries and languages, and, you know.
Because that's a job as well. It's not just teaching.
It's not just teaching. It's all of that. It starts as soon as you get off the plane and the people meet you at the gate. Your job starts right there because they're paying you to do everything to, you know, just all those things. So all is a factor. So after a while, I guess like in Turkey, I just broke down. Like I couldn't handle it anymore. So I remember getting to India and saying to my mom, I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. It's just a lot. Because I was literally like 18 years old having to deal with all
that's
this.
A lot.
And
that's
it was a lot at a young age. And I feel like, and I also got to a point too where I was like, okay, I have everything that I want, right? I'm doing every single thing that I want. I am traveling, I'm teaching. I am like making myself known to these people, but I'm miserable. And I was like, I don't understand, to the point I was reaching out to like other choreographers and people that I wasn't even close with, and I would just be like, hey, this is so random, but I really just need to talk to you about this because I don't know who else to go to. So I was going to all these different choreographers who had been traveling and teaching for a while, and kind of just had to sit and speak to them about what to do now. Because I was just so stuck. Like and before all of that, I had no part of me was like had depression or anxiety or insomnia or eating. Not necessarily like full on eating disorders, but I always had an appetite, right? I was always willing to eat. But once I went through all of those things and just dealing with what I dealt with, I was depressed. I got anxiety. I couldn't sleep anymore. I wasn't eating. Like everything was just going downhill. And it was just a lot. Like I remember I would literally get to LAX and be in full tears and have panic attacks on the plane before we're about to take off to go somewhere, because in my head...
You knew it was like the job is...
Yeah, in my head, I knew the job was about to start. And it wasn't even just that. Like, the craziest part was, it was me getting my head, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm in LAX. I'm in a plane. If I really wanted to, I could get off this plane and go home, which is a 30-minute drive home. Yeah. And I could be fine and comfortable in my own space, right? And safe and feel good. But I can't, and now I'm about to fly all the way on the other side of the whole world to be somewhere where I'm not even comfortable, to be around strangers, and sit in this plane for, 13, 14 hours, and have to now do my job. And it was like should I go home? No, but I can't, because this is my job. And that happened to me. I can't even count on my two hands the amount of times that happened to me. Because after a while, I started realizing, I was like, okay, I cannot do this anymore. Because the way I was like fully having like panic attacks, could not breathe on the plane.
Just the way you were living.
Yeah, just the way I was living. I was like, this is not how it should be. This is not how I should be feeling in this moment, especially when this is like my dream of mine, but I'm feeling like all of these bad, things are happening to me, and I'm just feeling crazy. So after a while, I remember telling my manager, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I stopped traveling, and I only started traveling again the end of last year. So I took like a 2.5 year break maybe of it all, because I just I couldn't do it anymore. And I even remember, I think it was after maybe like a year after I told my manager no, I got, someone asked me, one of the studios, or Millennium in Germany, asked me to go there, asked me to go to Germany just literally for a few days and then come right back home. And I remember I said yes. And then once it got closer to the time, I started to like feel that again. And that was already after a year break. And I remember messaging my manager. I was like, I feel it. I can't do it. I can't do it yet.
The trauma's coming back.
Yeah, the trauma. Like I literally felt that trauma again. And so I just was like, no, I can't. There's no way I'm going to be able to like survive it basically again. So I literally, the last time I went out the country, which was in November, I think, of last year, was the first time that I had went back out the country since all that had happened to me.
What helped you like stay grounded or like what helped you kind of like bounce back into the flying and traveling and all that?
I think it was just the need to do it, because I took it away, I took it out of my life, that I had a desire to do it again. Because not only that, but I like, one of my closest friends, Drea, she's this artist in London.
Is that the
Drea Mack? Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she's one of my she's like my sister.
Yeah.
But she lives in London. She's always been like very close with me, and we've always been like super tight. So I went out there and wanted to go see her, and that's when her song was like just popping too. So it was just fun when I was out there.
Yeah.
But just that desire to go out there again was something that kind of like, okay, I think I'm ready to go.
You gave yourself the proper time.
Exactly, yeah. And I just didn't feel, and even when I got on the plane, I didn't feel crazy. I felt like I felt good, which was nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was definitely like a breaking point to where all of that happened before years ago was the breaking point where I had to pull myself away. But now I feel like I'm definitely much better and like healed from all of that.
You were saying, I take it back, you were saying you called your mom and all that. Like when you have those moments where you kind of like not really doubt yourself, just question or like have struggle, is your mom like always your number one call?
My parents are definitely, they've always been the most supportive for me. Sometimes, though, they're very, because they know if anybody in my life knows what I've done to be where I am right now, it's them. Mm-hmm. So it's like if I do call them with something like that, there's like a sense of, like, empathy, but at the same time, there's no way you're quitting. You've been doing this for way too long.
It's just like my parents.
Exactly. Like, there's absolute, like, I'll sit here and listen to what you have to say, but at the same time, I'm like,
you're fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
You're
You're
good.
gonna be okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's definitely like that support has always been there since I was a kid, which I'm incredibly thankful for.
Definitely. Maybe who was the first choreographer? Maybe that not in that exact moment in Turkey, but like who was one of the first choreographers that you like talked to deeply about like teaching or just life or like a mentor?
He wasn't so much a mentor. He was just a really close friend of mine. Do you know Mosey? He used to go by Gutta. He has all these names, but I refuse to
I know
call
him as
anything.
Gutta.
I literally say to him, like, I refuse to call you anything but Gutta. But I like, some people know him differently.
No, I know
Gutta,
him as
I
Gutta.
remember he's just very, like, an honest person when it comes to certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember just reaching out to him and, you know, because it wasn't necessarily, I didn't even know if he had gone through that before. Excuse me, but it was more, and I wanted to just know his opinion based on, like, what he thought that I should do, basically. Like, should I keep going? Should I push? Because he's just I knew that he was going to keep it real with me in the sense
matter
of,
what.
yeah,
Like,
no matter what. Like,
he's not going to sugarcoat it.
Exactly. Like, regardless if he's not going to be biased as well, like, be on my side and say, you know, or, oh, this is okay, you know, if you do that. It was just, I already knew that I was just going to get an honest answer.
Yeah.
So he was one of the people that I reached out to. I remember I was at the airport when I did that. Because I was so desperate.
Yeah.
Like, I was so desperate to talk to people about that because I was just so lost.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I was just one of, I don't know if I was, but I felt like I was just one of, like, the first, I was just so young to go through all of that.
Yeah.
It just felt like no one else was relating to what I was going through at the time. So, yeah.
Because not a lot of, like you said, not a lot of kids, choreographers at that age were doing that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and females at that.
Females at that time, too.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, it's amazing that you've done what you've done and grown and had that stability.
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy experience to think about all that. I'm just incredibly, like,
well, with that being
thankful.
We want to go with, like, the personal life and all that. Like, what's your thing besides dance that helps you kind of keep grinding? Do you meditate? You like watching movies?
Hobbies.
I enjoy hobbies. Dogs are like my number one thing in the whole world.
I was telling this guy too. You always like post your dog.
I have like, my dog is like, I honestly feel like I have like a spiritual connection to dogs. I swear I do. Because I don't know what it is.
Maybe you were a dog in your past life.
Honestly, I don't doubt it. I really don't doubt it. Because I just find myself so like,
connected with them.
Connected towards dogs, or even just like my dog. Like, I tell my friends all the time, like, I genuinely don't know what I would do without a dog. Because I'm just so like connected to them in a sense of like, I can be in a complete bad mood and just sit there and stare at my dog, watch him play with his toy, and suddenly, like, my day's turned around.
Yeah.
Because I honestly feel like I learned so much from him, too. It's just, like, the simple things in life and how those things make you happy, basically, like happiness and all of those things, and being grateful with the now. And just so many things that I just learned from being around dogs and really observing how they live their life. Like, I remember seeing something, I think DMX had said something about how loyal dogs are, and how they're like, they can do something wrong, but it's not like they're doing it on purpose. They're doing it because they just think it's fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they tear up your shoe, they think it's a toy. They're not doing it because they're like, if I
they
tear
hate
up,
you.
yeah, exactly. Right, literally.
Fuck with this
They're
guy.
not going to tear up your shoe because they know it's going to make you mad. They're going to tear up your shoe because they think it's a toy, right?
Yeah.
And then you scold them for it. And then if someone knocks on the door, they're not going to not go and bark and protect you. They're still going to protect you right after you just scolded them.
Yeah.
So it's like that loyalty and love is just completely unconditional. And I feel like that feeling that I feel from dogs is something that I almost like try to see in myself and see in other people. So it all affects just how, it honestly just affects how I just live my life, how I really observe dogs in that way.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting though. Sometimes I tell people, they're like, huh? They're like, how are you so, like, to the point where when I watch dog movies, I like will literally like bawl my eyes out. But we won't even talk about that right now.
Marley and me. That's how I feel, but with cats.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
allergic to cats, so I've never been able to.
Really
like,
unfortunate. I'm sorry.
I've never been able to like connect to them in that
Yeah,
way.
that's fair. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
So dogs are the ones.
Have you seen Marley and Me?
Oh my god.
That was the first movie. We always talk about movies. That's the first movie I cried in.
That movie
Same?
is like, yikes. Honestly though, I'm a weirdo because sometimes I'll like be in the mood. Are you ever like in the mood to cry? That might just be me.
Of course.
Might just be in the mood to cry. Sometimes I'll put Marley and Me on purpose.
Really? Yeah.
On purpose, because I know when I'm watching it, like I know tears are about to fall down my face.
I don't think I've seen that movie since I saw it in theaters. That's how sad. I
Oh my
can't go through
goodness.
that. I just can't go through because I have Marley and Marley's old and it's just too much.
There's a dog movie. I cannot remember the name of it, but it's with Pierce Brosnan.
Is it the racing one?
No.
No.
Spoiler alert. But the fucking the owner of the dog dies, not the dog. And
the Japanese one?
yeah. What's it called?
It's like Hichi.
It starts with
Koshi.
Hachi.
Yes,
Yeah,
Hachi.
Hachi.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
dog like goes to the grave or waits at the train station
Yeah,
every day.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know that's real, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's just
They have a statue
yeah.
in Japan.
That is like just things
That movie
like
got me.
There's one movie though, last dog movie, and then I'll move on to the rest of my hobby. Is The Art of Racing in the Rain. It's about
Milo Ventimiglia.
yes,
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
dog, and oh my god, that movie too. I remember I watched it on the plane. I was like sobbing. The people next to me are probably like, "What is wrong with this girl next to me?" But I remember sobbing. That movie is so good. The Art of Racing in the Rain. I
Art
suggest
of-
That
you
one's
watch
more
it.
recent.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
recent. Yeah.
What's the recent dog movie with what's his face? Tatum?
Dog.
Oh,
Dog.
dog.
It's called-
Literally.
Dog.
It's called
They're
Dog.
like,
Wow,
what's the
very
reason?
There's
creative.
just, no, there's
Dog.
like a movie fad. There's dog, there's lamb, there's pig. These are
Oh,
the
yeah,
names of
recently,
movies. These are the
recently,
names of
yeah.
movies.
They're all
Yeah,
animals.
yeah.
Have you seen Dog?
I haven't seen. People literally keep telling me to go see Dog. I haven't
That's-
seen it yet.
I've watched the trailer and I was like,
I've heard good things,
but I've heard
surprisingly.
good things. I've
Yeah.
heard.
Let's do a movie night
just
of
don't wanna
only
cry.
titles that are just the name of
Just
an
the
animal.
name of the animal.
Lamb, pig,
all those.
dog.
That's funny.
Are you easily like emotional towards movies? Like, can you cry easily in a movie?
It depends what it is.
Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
No.
Sorry, I have to mention
Highly
this movie.
recommend.
Highly,
Really?
highly.
What is it
It's
about?
Michelle Yeoh. She was in Crouching Tiger. What is it? Crouching Tiger, right?
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Hidden Dragon. And it's about the multiverse.
Okay.
But that's all I'll say.
You're like, I'm stopping right there.
Yeah.
Like it's just
It's what? It's called Everything
Everywhere All at Once.
Everywhere All at Once. Okay, I'm going to watch it.
And yeah, it's incredible story wise, everything, and highly recommend. Are you a movie person or TV person? When you have the
both.
time, I feel like
I would say both.
okay.
I really like, when it comes to like movies, I'm so like weird when it comes to what I like for like genres.
What's
Yeah.
your? Let's get weird. What's your favorite then?
I just like, as far as like
get
TV
weird.
shows, or is this as like genres?
Genres.
Genres. I really like murder.
Okay.
Okay, kind of means like. Are you talking about like serial killers?
I'm
or
just
like,
saying in general, like just very. This sounds so weird coming out of my mouth. Like, what I just
love
said. Now
murder.
I love
I
murder.
love
Like,
murder.
huh? I'm sorry, you love murder. Like what? No. I just really like mystery and like serial killers and documentaries and things like that. I don't know. It's just interesting to me.
You know, I'm gonna suggest on Netflix. Have you seen Mindhunter?
Yes.
Okay. Fucking that's
Yes.
like that's like
Worst
that
show I've ever
style. That style is I love that style. Like, have you seen Zodiac?
Yes.
That's
Ooh.
oh my god.
Jake
Honestly, I
Gyllenhaal.
really just feel like, honestly, not even like documentaries, absolutely, but even just like normal like movies like murder and all that. I don't know. People think that I'm crazy.
No,
like,
I'm like that way. I just think it's interesting how like some people think and like
No,
like
me
with
too.
the Mindhunter, it's a true story even though characters are fictional.
Yeah.
But like the way how what's the main serial killer on there? The tall one. Ed Kemper. The tall one, like
Yeah.
the way like those people think and what they've done is just so interesting.
No,
to
it's
me.
really interesting. I agree, honestly, because I don't watch it for like the thrill, but
No.
I watch it for like the whole backstory of how
Definitely.
everything comes to
Yeah.
how it ends up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just that those things like that are very interesting.
What's
to
the
me.
most recent documentary then that you've seen? You're like, oh, this is crazy.
What did I watch?
Or movie or.
Oh, the documentary that I watched on, it wasn't necessarily, I mean, it was just weird. I was just like, why would someone even do that? Was, Our Father.
Oh my god.
That was just like,
What is it?
what in the
So
world
he
is
was a sperm
happening?
doctor, and
and then
he like
He basically inseminated
they made a
his-
movie. It's
actual
on,
movie?
on it's an A24 movie on Hulu with
Whoa.
Pierce Brosnan.
Oh my god, I'm watching it.
no, so it's a
Literally-
documentary on Netflix.
It's a
and-
documentary.
The movie's
too on Netflix.
really good.
I'm
The
gonna
movie's
watch
really,
it.
really
Yeah,
good.
so basically the documentary starts with this one girl that she finds out that he did that to her mom.
You're describing the plot of the movie.
and then,
Literally.
And then she goes on the ancestry
and finds all these
all
like
these
brothers
like
and
relatives
sisters.
and starts contacting them. And
Yeah.
like it's insane.
Highly
Or
recommend the
even the other documentary. There's a TV show on it on HBO, but there's also like a real life documentary. Documentary is The Staircase.
Oh yes,
Staircase.
That
The
sounds
one-
familiar.
the one. It's about the wife falls and they blame the husband, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the husband claims he didn't do it. But like all the evidence is kind of showing he did it. I haven't
This
seen it
sounds
fully,
familiar.
but
I
I've
watched the series fully, but I haven't seen the documentary fully.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Like so there's a Okay, I'm talking about the I've seen the documentary on Netflix.
on Netflix, and then there's a series on HBO.
Oh, like written,
Yeah,
like
like a-
characters.
yeah,
and
like
all?
characters.
What's that one called? Maybe that's the one I've seen. Do you know?
It's literally called The Staircase as well.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. I need to watch that one.
Yeah,
man.
there's honestly like that's why when I go on my Netflix, I swear I've seen like all the sci-fi horror thriller.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
literally seen like
That's my favorite
all
shit.
of them.
Yeah.
No, that's
It's crazy. Like recently, like if you look on my recently watch, it's like all horror movies. I'm like, don't
What-
judge me. It's either horror movies or like love stories, which is funny.
What's your number one horror movie? Have you seen Hereditary?
I was
Michael?
gonna-
I have.
That fucked me
That's
up.
Brandon's
I
favorite
think,
Hereditary was
I think that like those type of horror. I don't really get scared of like the sinister and like.
those, but the ones that are like weird and
Like
that
Hereditary?
way are,
Yeah.
are like chills.
Yeah,
type
no,
thing.
Hereditary. I still to this day say Hereditary is the scariest movie I've seen.
I'm trying to think. I don't know because I honestly. I don't know. Like even like the ghost things, those don't really scare me as much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I can't think at the top of my head because I've just seen so many and I really
Yeah,
just
yeah.
will sit there all day long and just watch all these horror movies.
Yeah.
What about like a guilty pleasure movie or genre?
I feel like Marley and Me.
Right, literally Marley
Okay,
and me
okay.
at a sense.
That's so funny.
I really do like. I only have to be in the mood. I can only be in the mood for it to watch it to like again want to cry.
Want to
cry.
And, like love
Do I want to be sad?
love stories. Like exactly. Do I want to be sad right now? Like I guess, and I'll watch like love stories in that sense. But my main go to is like always like thrillers.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I don't think I have.
It's on HBO.
True Detective.
Also highly
it's
recommended.
Michael. It's Matthew. The first season is Matthew McConaughey and
Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
It's an anthology.
Oh, maybe I have. That sounds familiar, especially if Matthew McConaughey's in
It's
it.
an anthology series, so every season is a completely different cast
Yeah.
and not related at all.
That's
to
why a
each
lot
other.
of people only like the first season because it's Matthew McConaughey and
Right.
Woody
Yeah.
Harrelson.
Yeah.
But like I've heard the stories. I haven't seen it
It's
either.
called True Detective.
True Detective.
I have to look into that.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
See, now we got you a list.
Now I
Yeah.
have something to do. Honestly, I'm rewatching How to Get Away with Murder right now.
Oh,
Even
okay.
that show is so interesting.
Yeah, my mom likes that
How
show
you can
too.
do your job so well that you can literally make someone who's guilty
Get away.
not guilty.
Yeah.
Like that's just nuts to me.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the whole
yeah.
idea of all that.
That's
But
funny.
yeah, I'm rewatching that
Our,
right now.
we got our question.
All right, so we have our question of the day for you.
Okay.
Yeah, usually it's a question of the month, but we're changing to question of the day. Thank you. Shout out to Versus Game. We appreciate you. Go check out their app and follow us and go do our polls. And we have the question of the day for you.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, I forgot it for a second.
It was now in your career, do you prefer choreographing
Like
Or-
teaching, choreographing around the
or
world,
performing, like
or
touring,
touring. What's your favorite? Technically, would you rather dance and perform?
Or would I rather
Or
teach and
teach.
choreograph?
Yeah.
I think where I am right now, at this exact moment, I would rather
Perform and tour.
which is interesting because that would never really usually be my answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I just really I like to be able to, because I've been teaching people for so long and pouring out of my cup for them, that I want to be able to perform and like
Fill your cup.
fill my cup and utilize what I know
Yeah.
to make myself better and like perform for people and, you know, become someone else on stage and like alter egos and all of that and
Yeah,
be able to
definitely.
fulfill myself in that way.
Kind of be
Yeah.
a character.
Exactly, be that character for a moment. Because I feel like when I'm on stage, it's just like that adrenaline that I have is like there's nothing like it. Like it's really like you
Definitely.
are in your own
You're in your own world.
Yeah.
own world. Like it's really nuts. So I think right now where I am in my life and how I feel at this moment, I think I would rather perform and be on stage. It's just it's a whole nother universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like doing that.
That's dope.
Oh,
Well, you
yeah.
hit it here first, man.
Yeah.
We have a legend in the building. I'm so, like, I was telling these boys, like, I'm so happy you came through. Like, it's
Thank
really,
you.
it's
Thank
really
you.
an honor
Yeah.
for you to
No,
come
thank
through.
you. No, I really
you know?
appreciate you having me here, and I mean we've been friends for so long.
Yeah,
I can't
seriously.
even go back.
Seriously.
Probably 10 years
I think so.
at least.
And not even like super close, just
Yeah,
kind of
but
like
just,
in
like-
passing
yeah,
and
no,
always
for
taking
sure.
class. And
Yeah.
now we kind of like work together, like
Yeah.
when you have videos. So it's a pleasure. It's a
Thanks
honor.
for coming out.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. I
And,
appreciate it.
If you don't know her and aren't following her, you're kind of dumb and like I don't know what you're doing.
Throw out your tags.
Yeah, if you're listening on Spotify and all that, go to YouTube so you can see
See
all
our
our
beautiful faces.
beautiful faces.
Yes.
Mostly hers, but you know, we're here every week. But yeah, for people listening, what's your tags?
Yes, my Instagram is Isabel Caps, spelled with a Y. Everything honestly is Isabel Caps. So.
There it is. YouTube,
Perf.
everything. And
Follow me.
it'll be in the description below. You already know what it is. And we'll see you guys next week. We have another crazy guest, so peace out. Just do the damn thing.